So today we're going to have another quiz, and because I love spiders, it's going to be a giant spider movie quiz. So these are movies that have giant spiders. So first of all, a little background on me and spiders. I've always been fascinated by spiders. I wanted to be a spiderologist, basically, when I went to college. But here's my dark secret. I'm actually a little bit afraid of spiders. At least, the larger they are, the more scared I get. I have nightmares about spiders, but they still fascinate me. I'm still drawn to them. Don't tell my grandkids I'm a little afraid of them, because they will laugh at me, because I've managed to inculcate them not being afraid of spiders. But here we go. And of course, one of the things about spiders also I have learned as a computer designer and a board game designer is that spiders are really hard to make in games. And the reason is because they have 8 legs, they have a very distinctive shape, and they are hard to animate in a computer game, and they are hard to make molds of in a physical plastic game. Like the least successful figures we made in the Gods War were the spider goddess and the spider hero. So that was I mean, we made them, but they were awkward and hard. The spider mastermind worked out pretty well, partly because we reduced it kind of down to 4 legs. So spiders are interesting to me also because it's hard to imagine anything more alien than a spider to us. The way they function is different. They don't have a spinal column or bones. Their brain is in their front. Their genitals are not where you'd expect them to be. I won't tell you where they are. I'll let you find that out on your own. But they also share elements with us. For example, if you see a spider and you scare it, and the spider reacts, and you can tell it's scared, we share at least that emotion with spiders. It's pretty weird. So here's the first movie, and what you're supposed to do is figure out what the name of the movie is for the spider. Now, this first movie, the spider's interesting because it's not clear. You can tell, obviously, this is a fake spider, right? But the question is, in the movie, is it a fake spider? And it's not clear. It might be fake based on other things that are happening, but it might also be real because the movie is so highly entertaining yet atrociously bad, you can't tell. So this movie is, great title, The Bloody Pit of Horror. Man, I love that movie. It is crazy stuff. The spider's only in one little scene, but it also has crab claws, which makes no sense because, like spiders don't have crab claws. Okay, next movie. Okay, so notice the spider is on its back, and people are taking pictures of it. They think it's dead, but it's not. And this movie also has a great name, Earth versus the Spider. What a great title that is. I just love it. The spider keeps getting bigger, and actually it's different sizes in different scenes. It eats a lot of people, though. So here, the spider is knocked out by, I forget, poison gas or something, and they think it's dead, but it's resurrected because they have a rock and roll concert in here, and that resurrects it. I'm not sure if it's because the spider likes rock and roll or hates it, but either way, it comes to life. This, yes, look, it's Dan Aykroyd. Bet you didn't know he was in a movie like this. And this is Earth versus the Spider again, 2001 version. They made a series of movies in the early 2000s which had the exact same name as some old movies, but they had totally different plots. This is one of them, Earth versus Spider. This movie is kind of Spider-Man gone wrong. I mean, the main character, who is on the left, is not Dan Aykroyd, gets bitten by a radioactive spider, but instead of turning into Spider-Man, he turns into Spider-Man, but this kind of Spider-Man, so it's pretty good. Okay, these are more like ticks than spiders, but the movie calls them spiders. They're actually alien monsters. This is called Arachnid. And it's pretty cool because even though they have fairly terrible 3D animation, the spiders are around a lot. You get to see them all over the place. It's pretty fun. Here they're eating a car. They eat as many people as they can get. And they're small enough that you can kill them, which is always a problem with a real giant spider, is that in the movie, if there's only one giant spider, you can't kill it until the end of the movie. But if you have lots of smaller spiders, you can kill them and it still won't save you because there's still more of them, so that's kind of cool. Kind of the advantage of zombies over the Frankenstein monster, same thing. You can kill zombies, you can't kill the Frankenstein monster. Okay, this movie is also interesting because it starts out, it's also aliens, but it starts out with all kinds of different arachnid monsters from outer space. It has like ticks and scorpions and vinegaroons and millipedes, and I know a millipede is not really interacted, but and then it ends up with the ultimate horror, which they assume is a spider. Although I would have thought that a scorpion is a more ultimate. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe vinegaroon that sprays acid, but spiders were their ultimate horror, so there it is. And there it is, their giant spider. Okay, so this is in this movie has the worst giant spider I've ever seen. And it practically has googly eyes on the front, and the legs are made of pipe cleaners. And when they shoot it, spoiler, I know, but feathers fly out of it. It's great. And it's supposed to be a real spider, too. And it is from the movie. And you'll love this title. Another great title. Nude for Satan. Wow, what a title. And what a spider. It doesn't bite her. She gets away, so don't be too worried. Okay, this is one that probably a lot of you will be able to get. And this is the movie that set up one of my best friends, Frank Baroff, for being terrified of spiders to this day. He can't watch movies with spiders in them. Like in the Japanese Spider-Man TV show, which I highly recommend, there's an alien from planet Spider that gives Spider-Man his powers, and it looks like a spider. I know that doesn't sound much like the American Spider-Man, but anyway, it's great. You can get it on the Marvel website. Anyway, this is the movie that scared him so much he couldn't even watch the harmless spider in Japanese Spider-Man. And this is Tarantula. It's also, I think, the biggest giant spider of any movie. It's so big they have to try to bomb it from the sky. It's pretty great. Okay, this movie, this is not a spider, obviously, but there are spiders in the movie, and this is the best movie so far that I've described. I strongly recommend this to everyone. This is one of Sid Haig's first movies, and it is amazingly entertaining, and it's called Spider Baby. And this girl who loves spiders does have some pet tarantulas, but I guess they're not giant spiders, but I don't care because this movie is so good, and you should all see it. Okay, this is from a movie adaptation of a book, and as often happens, the director thought he was smarter than the original author, and so he changed the ending, and so the new ending, in my opinion, sucks. Not as good as the original ending, and this is The Mist. It's a Stephen King story that I really liked, and then the movie was good up until the final scene where he kind of screwed the pooch. But he thought he was being clever, but they hardly ever are, so that's why you should stick to the source, people. There's a reason the source did what it did. You're not as smart as he was. Okay, this movie, people go into a haunted house, and every single kind of monster you can imagine comes to get them. And this is the Spider Lady, and it's called Spookies, which is a terrible name, but it's an 80s movie. It looks like an 80s movie, sounds like an 80s movie. If you like 80s horror, this is exactly in the middle of solidly 80s horror. Okay, one of the things that always bugs me about spider movies is that they frequently have spiders be parasites or lay eggs in you or crawl out of you, and spiders just don't do that. They're a terrible design for a parasite. All those long legs, if a spider was inside you, it couldn't even move because all the legs would be cramped up. You need a worm or something like that for a parasite. That's what you want. Or a roundish body with short legs, like a louse or a tick or a stick tite or something. But no, not a spider. Anyway, so this movie is boringly called just spiders. I sound like I'm criticizing the movie. I actually like the movie. It's just that spiders inside you are dumb. So, I'll bet you recognize this one. The light source might give it away, and this is, of course, Return of the King. That's the Lord of the Rings, folks, and there is Shelob, who I would like to point out, it's not clear if she's killed either in the movie or the book, which is pretty cool, because it means maybe the Shelob's still there in the, whatever the fourth age is, so yay, Shelob. Okay. This looks like an alien civilization, because it is, and this is Planet of the Spiders, 1974 Doctor Who, which is also fabulous because at the start of it they have people doing Buddhist chants trying to channel the spider planet, which is a great touch. This is an obscure German movie, and this awesome creature, which I only have a blurry shot of, sadly only appears in the last scene, but the rest of it there's a pretty awesome creature, and this is called Horrors of Spider Island. Basically, a guy gets bit by a spider, and only his arm turns into a spider at first, but then later, and he basically becomes a serial killer, but by the end of the movie, he's this guy, and this guy is so fabulous that I just had to mention it. It's also remarkably sexy for a 1960 German movie. I mean, no one takes their clothes all the way off, but, I guess if you have a serial killer killing girls and being part spider, what do you want, right? Okay, look, many spiders everywhere, awkwardly animated. And they're on a container ship, which is kind of cool because then you know how this is going to end. They're going to destroy the container ship and get rid of all the spiders, which they do. And this is Spiders 2. You saw Spiders 1 where they're inside you. I can't remember if they get inside you in this one, but there's, of course, there's an evil group that is trying to breed spiders, and the spiders eat everyone, and they keep getting bigger, and, it's everything you dreamed of in spiders. Okay, so this movie, you may notice that the giant spider does not look as good as the previous movie. Also, I didn't give it a good look at the body of the spider, but you'll be happy to hear that the body of the spider is actually a Volkswagen, which they've covered with spider makeup, so it's so that's pretty great. This is the Giant Spider Invasion, which in fact is about a giant spider invasion. There's only one giant spider, the rest are more regular-sized spiders. But hey, it has spider smoothies and all kinds of, so what do you want? Okay, this is probably the best recent giant spider movie, though I'm still holding for Spider Baby being the very best. You may have seen this one. It is Eight-Legged Freaks, which almost got called Iraq Attack, which is a pretty fun name too. I guess I prefer Eight-Legged Freaks because so many movies are already named Arachnia or Arachnitron or Arachids, so, it's good to have something that's different. Mysteriously, the spiders in the Eight-Legged Freaks cooperate and go along and don't eat each other, which I have kept spiders, and I can tell you the spiders, in fact, not only do not cooperate, they totally eat each other every chance they get. So, if we had a big plague of spiders, the spiders would eat each other as often as anyone else, and I guess that's how it would be. Okay, technically, this is not a giant spider. This is a normal-sized spider. I'm not sure why the hero has a tarantula in his basement, because he is the Incredible Shrinking Man. And he has to fight it with a pin. And having fought spiders, so to speak, with a pin, I can tell you that pins are a very ineffective way to kill a spider. I guess if you got it right in the nerve ganglia, you could stop it. Maybe that's what he does. So this is a giant spider, and it's actually featured in several movies. So if you can name any of the movies, you can give yourself a pat on the back and score a point. But this is... And he also is a good example of why it's hard to make spiders that animate properly, because it can barely animate at all. It's Kumonga! He was in Son of Godzilla, where he might have been a little kid's dream. He was in Destroy All Monsters, where he's absolutely there. He's in Godzilla Final Wars, which is probably the best animated version of him. And he appears as stock footage in 2 other movies. So, I guess he technically appears in 5 movies, but he only got filmed for 3 of them. So there he is, Kumonga. For a monster that appeared that often, it's surprisingly how lame he is. He's pretty much only on there so that they can show how cool King Kong or Godzilla or whoever is to beat him up. So, okay, this is that rare thing. It's a British giant bug movie, and it's called The Strange World of Planet X, also called Cosmic Monsters. And you'll be sad to learn that Planet X is Earth. So basically, radiation leak makes the spiders big. This is a pretty good-looking giant spider, though, I thought. Has a little too many hairs than I'd expect from a spider in a web, but I guess they're trying to make it scary, and who can possibly object to that? Strange World of Planet X. It has more than spiders. There's other giant bugs, but of course the spider is the coolest. Whoa! Now that is a giant spider to conjure with. I really like the way they made the head look, because it's so weird and yet is probably spidery. And this is Catwomen of the Moon, which is pretty much as good a movie as it sounds. There's an awesome moment in the trailer where they say, "Meet the creeping terror that menaces all of Earth," and then they show this spider. And I'm not sure how a spider on the moon, which is about the size of a Great Dane, menaces all of Earth, especially since actually in the trailer, as well as the movie, they shoot it down with a .38 revolver, so anything you can kill with a .38 probably doesn't menace all of Earth, but it's class. That's how they used to talk about things in the old movies, so the Black Menace, there it is. This menaced the whole Earth, apparently. This is another alien giant spider from another planet, and also featuring women because it's the Queen of Outer Space. They go to Venus, and there's the Queen of Outer Space there, and she wants to blow up the Earth. And there's only girls on Venus, as we know, and so they had to figure out how to save the day. And tragically, this giant spider, though I think he's a lot better than the one in Catwomen of the Moon, is still pretty terrible, and he fails to kill the guy. So I think they kill it with a gun a little bigger than the .38 revolver, though. So there's that. I like the red back. There's actually spiders with red backs. That's cool. So once more, this is not a giant spider. This is a normal-sized spider. Not sure what species it is. And it's about to eat this dude who seems weird because he is the Fly. This is the Fly, 1958. And what happens in the... You all know that the spider combines with the guy in the original movie, and the guy gets like a spider head and a spider arm, but the rest of him is a person. Eventually he's killed, but the thing is that the fly that combined with them, that means there's a little fly going around with a human head and a human arm, and this is that fly, and they see it at the very end of the movie, when it's too late to try to combine it with the guy again, because the other one's crushed, and the spider's going to eat him anyway, so Vincent Price kind of saves the day, and... But there it is. And it's kind of cool because the fly goes, "Help me, help me." And one of the reasons that's kind of cool is because in the David Cronenberg remake of The Fly says, "Help me," because it's a kind of a call out, Easter egg calling back to the original Fly. Anyway, I like the original Fly, even though it's scientifically preposterous. And it was fun to watch. And plus it has Vincent Price. Okay, this spider doesn't appear very long. Most of this movie is about... dinosaurs! But there's a giant spider, and it's green! So how cool is that? It's in the caves. So there's giant spiders, and there's lots of dinosaurs. Technically, they're not dinosaurs, they're slurposaurs. But, oh well. We'll talk about that maybe later. This is a really terrible made-for-TV movie, which is called Ice Spiders, which, of course, ice is a terrible place for spiders to be. Spiders hate the ice. They don't like the cold. They're cold-blooded. There's no bugs on the ice to eat, so... But I guess they're skiers, so here they go. I like her. I think she is a great monster design. And I say that having built 2 monster designs that looked like her, but from way before she came along. And she is, of course, the Arachnos, which is from the story The Runaway Bride, one of the best of the new Doctor Who series. And she's the only Arachnos around at the time, but the plan is she's going to lay 1 billion eggs, and they have 1 billion Arachnos, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, this is a giant spider, and look, see that dude? The reason he's only wearing a pair of shorts is not because he was swimming. By the way, that's supposed to actually be the spider's web, which is kind of bogus, because we've seen spider's webs, they aren't that clear, but this is the Thief of Baghdad. And they have a cool fight where they're both swinging on strings, and he's trying to cut the spider string and just trying to grab him or cut it, going back and forth. Meanwhile, there's a giant octopus, and it just Thief of Baghdad, great stuff. The movies that Harryhausen made, like The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, would never have existed without the Thief of Baghdad showing the way first. So there we go. Okay, this is from another big time movie you may or may not recognize, and it is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And that's the spider. What I liked in this is that they go to talk to the spider, and then the spider is going to eat them after it tells them the story anyway, because Hagrid thinks the spiders are friendly, because he thinks everything's friendly, but they're not, because, spiders. Okay, what's this from? A crystal spider? What can it be? Could it be from outer space again? Yes. Apparently there's a lot of spiders in space. And this is Krull, which is an absolutely terrible, horrible movie that I recommend everyone go out and watch immediately. So, and it does have this spider in it, so. Okay, what is this? This is a fairly recent movie that was a lot better than I thought it had any reason to be. And it's doing the King Kong thing on top of the tree, on top of it's not the Empire State Building, but top of a building. And this is Big Ass Spider. What a name. What were they thinking? Well, that is my giant spider quiz. I hope you enjoyed it. You can see that my backdrop is a scene from my art book for hyperspace. Take care, and this is Sandy Petersen signing off.